Water here, back in Parkitect, back in the Sandbox Park. Don't do a whole lot. It's just kind of a little bit of more kind of last touch up of the spooky area. Go ahead and add in kind of a pathway around, and then I end up going through and start to decide to do kind of a formal cemetery, I guess, is the best way to put it. And then I go through and add in a bunch of trees and foliage just to try and cover things a little bit more. I don't do kind of the front areas because I'm still feeling that there needs to be something else there. I just don't know exactly what I want to put in there. Um, but I feel like there's something else that still needs to be in there. And I may end up going through and going in and working on maybe the beginnings of the western area next time, just to get away from the spooky a little bit and kind of reset where my head's at, just to get a little bit more creative ideas as I'm just kind of working in another area, and then see how I can tie that in to back into the spooky area a little bit. Um, but yeah, this is right up next to the spooky swamp, and I do like how this turned out. I go through, kind of dropped in the pathways, and then I realized that it's going to be a little bit too close. So then I go through, take out the second path, and then go through and add in another set of tombstones, and then added the pathway back in there. Um, Going with Parkitect, I may or may not continue on with the career mode. Um, I might just shorten that up to maybe once a week, only for the career mode, and then just kind of focus on the Sandbox Park going forward for a little while. But we'll play it by ear. Um, but yeah, if you have any ideas on what else I can drop in towards the corner where the train station is in the spooky area, uh, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think might fit in there. Um, I go through, continue to add in the fence around the graveyard itself, and then I'll go through, add in a bunch of trees, a bunch of bushes, just to kind of flesh it out a little bit more. I tie it into the queue a little bit better as well for the you can see the spooky swamp ride back in the background there. And then I also, in this episode, believe I add in a bathroom to this area. Not this area, but closer to the train station, near the exit of the haunted house ride. Just because I realize there's not really a bathroom over on this side of the park. And so that's something else I'm probably going to have to add in one more, kind of in the midway point of the spooky area. Um, but we'll see on that. Just don't know how frequent the people need to use the bathroom. So I don't know how many I do need to kind of push into the park. But that'll be something I look at going forward. Here I'm just doing a little bit of ground foliage within the graveyard, add a little bit of color variation in there as well. But I really do like how the graveyard turned out. I do fence it off because I imagine if this was in an actual park, there would be a fence um, to keep the populace out. I was checking to see if there were basically gates. I thought I saw them at one point, but I don't know if they actually exist in the game anymore. Um, Ended up taking that fence out so people can actually pass through. And this is also kind of a bypass to the western area. So just on the other side of the mountain there to the left on the screen is where we're going to be adding in the log flume. So it's going to be kind of the transition between the spooky area. You're going from this spooky willowed area into a little bit more evergreen kind of fir trees into kind of a logging area. And we will then transition probably a wooden coaster as well in that same general area as we transition into from the logging area into a little bit more plain area with more traditional deserty western, where we'll have the mine train coaster and probably a couple flat rides that we'll add in as well. So that's probably something I'm looking to start maybe in the next episode, just to get a better feel on the park overall, as well as kind of give myself a little bit of a change. I don't want to say I'm getting burned out on the spooky. It's the creativity is not entirely there right now, so struggling on just because I don't know what to add in at the top there, if anything. Otherwise, I'll probably just do a bunch of trees, some rocks, kind of on the back portion, behind where the train is running. Um, Here's where I added the bathroom. It's just a small cover on it, nothing overly dramatic. As I'm going through, I do realize that it will be seen from the queue on the back side. So I do a little bit more, not the queue, but the exit from the Haunted Mansion ride there. And so I do add a little bit more to it on the back just to make it look more like an actual building. So that's something we finish off, and then we add in again a little bit more trees, just kind of completing the area a little bit more. But I am still enjoying Parkitect. I like the aesthetic of a lot of it. I debated about toying by adding that pavilion, but it just didn't fit, so I just went with just a kind of a standard eave there. I think that's an eave. I don't know. I don't know my buildings, but I do some detail work here just to kind of spice it up a little bit, make it look a little better, and then go through and add the border at the bottom. End up fencing it off, putting a bunch of trees in to just kind of really spice it up. Um, but the front side of the haunted house I do not touch just yet. Again, I'm not entirely. I don't want to just keep shoving a bunch of trees everywhere, which is kind of what I do in this episode. Which is why I also did a time lapse just to speed things up, because I can't imagine a lot of people just want to see a bunch of trees going in everywhere. Um, but I got the trees in. I then go in, do some ground shrubbery, and just kind of overgrow the area a little bit. And that is a giant neon green hat. But yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more variation within some of the uh, hats that you can use. Don't know if there are variations. I don't think I consciously have actually looked at the souvenir store. I think because it goes back to my days playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you can vary the hats given a specific area, and so it fits in the area a little bit more. Um, so go through and I fence off this area. Again, don't know what to do with the front just yet, and end up going through and just basically overgrowing the back side of it through the path to the western town. So just dumping a bunch of trees in there, do some rocks as well as some ground cover. The queue there to the haunted house ride is significantly long, so um, might consider snaking it a little bit more, but we'll see. Okay, so I am selling umbrellas apparently, because I don't. I saw the rain and I was contemplating whether or not I actually had any umbrella stalls in the park, and I think I actually have one in the spooky area. But yeah, so this is what I have done so far. I'm gonna look at doing the Western Town next, but I appreciate you guys for being here. As always, have a great day.